Alright, hi everyone. So this is we're trying to do lab assignment 2. Basically, we're trying to do a short animation of a bouncing ball that squashes and stretches. A minimum of 4 bounces. We have a new component here. It must come to a stop in a frame. You can plan out the assignment first. Come up with an interesting shot, and what's more important is you need to use the character rigs. So I'll open up the character rigs. It's this one here in Moodle. Again, it's in the lab section. Download the whole folder, and I'll download it first. Also, I did also share this one, which is the planning. So we're gonna use this planning to help us. And I see it's been downloaded. And let me just open up Maya. Right, cool. Let's just create a project so that we're much more organized. You can do this very quickly. I'll just call it lab assignment 2, or I'll just call it animation. It's okay. Click accept. Before that, let's just browse. So let me see, where do I want to save it? Here. Alright. Tell you what, let's put it here. I'll say animation, and that's the folder I want. Copy that link. We need to kind of paste it back in Maya. So that's the directory, and click accept. When we do that, we can see that it's going to create a folder here with all our assets, and we know that we have this is where we want to put our assets. So I'm going to go back to the folder where I downloaded the character rigs. I'll cut that, and I will place it here in assets. Paste it in. Let's just extract it here. We don't need that anymore. And we can see that there are 3 rigs that we need to use, that we can use. We're not going to bother with this 2 yet. I'm going to look at Pelota. So I can copy that because I need to open it up here. Alright. Paste that in, and Pelota is what we're looking at. Let's open that up. Do not save. Sweet. I'm not going to go into too much about the rig because there are videos already in Moodle. Kind of created some videos. Lab assignment 2 video walkthrough. So you can look at here, and I talk about how to use the rig, how to set all the settings and whatnot. What I'm going to do with this video is to talk about character sets. Okay, where do I start? Let me just set up things nicely. Set that to 1, change this to, let's just go through it again. I just want to make sure everything's correct. Auto key all, everything. Hi Mecha. So you're in the video now. So real time save. Okay, this is all good. What I want to talk about is why do we need to use character sets? So this is my channel box. Let's just put it up here. Okay, that's fine. If I am going to create a key again, and I think I need to bring up my graph editor for this. Okay, so I have my graph editor. I have nothing selected. Okay, you can see that nothing is selected, nothing is in here. If I were to select one control, I can see main control. I can see there's it's all, you know, pretty standard. It's not red. And if I press A, there's nothing here. In the graph editor, if I press A, there's nothing here because I haven't created any keys. And to create a key, or to create our first drawing, we need to select all the controls like that and press S. I'm not going to do that yet. Let me just set up my space first. So I'll just do it very quickly. It doesn't take long to do this. So I'll just Okay, no, don't do that yet. Why is it there? Alright, that's funny, it's not scaling. Oh, okay, there you go. Tak apa. Then whatever, it's just bring that. Okay, alright. So if you're doing an animation like this and you have all your flaws and whatnot, it's always a good idea to put this guy on its own separate layer and lock it. Why? Because you don't want to be selecting controls while selecting the flaw at the same time. You can see that I am selecting my P cube, and you don't want to press S, and what happens is this flaw, I press A, you'll see that there's keys on it now, and you don't want keys on the flaw, right? So I'm gonna select the flaw, or rather select everyone, go into the timeline, press delete, and we have no keys. So this guy, my polycube, I can see it selected here. I'll go to here and I'll say create a new layer and assign selected object. So I'm gonna create that. Right, so it's gonna create a new layer here, and it will assign, by theory, it will assign this one to this layer. I can test it out. Yes, it's correct. So unselect that and let's just lock it. Okay, then we can be sure that whenever we do something like that, we are just selecting the controls. And when we're animating using a rig, it's important not to select the mesh and key that as well. We don't want keys on the mesh. If you look at that icon, that is how the mesh looks like. So I'm gonna undo that. Only set keys on these three stuff: main control, lower control, upper control. Alright, and if I expand that, or rather do this, okay, there's no keys yet, so I can't really show it to you. Tapi the idea is that this is the only stuff we want to animate, and these are the attributes that should go into the animation. I am going to show you how I animate without a character set. So if I want to create my first drawing, what I do is I select everyone and I press S. I know there's a key now because this is all red in all attributes. If I look at here, and I can minimize that just to show it to you, I have all my keys selected. If I press A, I can see that it has a key for everyone. You can see that that is now there's a box next to it. There's a box next to that. There's a box next to all this. Let me just expand it. You can see that for all controls there's a key because there's a box next to it. Alright, if I were to go like this, I am selecting all the keys, so I know there's a key for everyone. Alright, now the next thing I want to do is let's just go to a different frame and press 8, and then again I have to select all controls. I press S. Now there's a key here. If I press A in the graph editor, I'll see that there's now keys at frame 1 and frame 8, but nothing is happening because if we look at the graph, it's a straight line. You need to have the graph changing, either going up or going down, or going all sorts of ways, all sorts of curve for it to move, and therefore I will start to move it now. So I'm gonna select my control out here, the upper control, and because I have auto key on, you'll see what happens in the graph editor. If I make it go down, notice that now we start to have a graph, and if I press A here, I can see that we have a graph that's not straight now. You can select that and you'll see that it belongs to translate, exactly what I did, because I kind of translated it down, and it's going to set a key automatically because I have auto key down. And now if I go back and forth, there's animation going on, but it's only happening with the upper control here in the translate Y attribute. Right, so that's basically how my interpolates from one key pose to the next, from one drawing to the next. And if I'm going to create more, I'll say okay, go here, and I'll select all the controls carefully like that. Select one and press Ctrl Shift and select that. You can double check whether you're selecting the right one by going here and see making sure that, you know, all three controls are selected. I only have one. If I press that, I have two, should have two more. Again, there you go. Then you can be sure that you are selecting all three controls. Only then you go to new frame number, press S. And now if I press A in the graph editor, I can see that it's creating keys technically for everyone here. If you're worried it's not, you can just you know, expand all this, select all here, make sure that you press A and select everyone here, make sure there's a box next to it, and that means everyone has a key. Why do we need keys for everyone? Okay, I'll try to demonstrate it to you in a bit. So say my next drawing, I'm gonna tweak it now. So I'm gonna select the main control, I'm gonna move it up. Okay, see that now it's shooting up. So what does that mean? I press A, means that here I'm gonna select that key. It belongs to the main control in the translate Y attribute. So from here to here, it's a straight line because it's not moving at all. But from here to here, looking at the graph, there's changes in the values, and that means that it's moving up. And I can, you know, keep on tweaking this. You don't really need to look at the graph. I'm showing it just for the sake of making you understand what's going on in Maya. So I'm gonna push it up. I'm gonna give it a stretch. So now it's changing value. It's gonna update as I go along. So I'll say I'm gonna put it here, and now it's changing the main control. So essentially I have these three drawings. Using the comma and dot button, I can go from one drawing to the next. So generally when I'm animating, I don't really look at the graph editor. I just tend to set the keys based on whatever planning I have. Based on the planning, I say, okay, I need that drawing at frame 12, and then move on to the next drawing, the next, and so on. It's only later on when I need to make the animation smooth do I go into the graph editor. Okay, so that's that. So we have animation. What else? I want to show you something about why we need to select all the controls and press S. Okay, so I'm gonna select all the controls now. I'm gonna shift left mouse button and drag, and at the middle here right mouse button and delete. Okay, now because I deleted it somewhere here, it's gonna remain that way. So you can pretty quickly zero out everyone. So I'm gonna do just that. Select all controls, press 0, so you go back to normal. Again, try not to select this and move it around. You're gonna break the rig. Try not to touch that at all and move it. So let's just do another thing. I'm gonna kind of press S here. So I know there's a key for everyone. How do I know? Well, I can go one by one. Select that, there's a key for everyone. Select this guy, the main control, select that, there's a key for everyone. And I can't select the middle part because it's hard to see from here. So let's see. I could have brought up the, so that's the lower control. Can't see it here. It's that one there. It's highlighted in green. If I select that, that's a key for everyone. Okay, so that's another way to check whether you have keys or not for all the controls. Okay, this is a bit lengthy, but I have to go into this explanation. So I have a key for everyone. Now, if I were to go to a different drawing, right, so let's just zoom out a bit. And I'll say I put it at frame 16. Now I select everyone. I press S, so it's gonna create a key. And I'll select the main control, and I'll say you go here. So now I have two drawings. Press A, you see that, you know, it's affecting the main control. It's doing that. Alright, cool. Now say I go to frame 9, right, and this is, now I'm not gonna follow what I said earlier. I'm not gonna select everyone and press S first. What I'll do is I select the main control, and I say, oh, I don't want it to go up here straight away. I want it to kind of slide and then go up. So I'll put it down here. Alright, so it's gonna create a key, correct? And there's changes here, correct? But if I do this, yes, it will do exactly what I want. Okay, imagine like, you know, then you decide, oh, I don't want it to go up lah, I just want it to stay here and then go another way. So I say I go here and I select everyone here because I want to delete all the keys there. So I right mouse button and delete. Notice what happens now? It's not actually going forward. How come? Why? Because if you select the main control and if you go here, there's only a key for transit Y. There are no keys for everyone else. The reason why it went forward because we had a key at frame 16 that kind of went forward. Okay. Again, let's just delete this and I'm gonna show it to you. I'll select all the controls. So I'm gonna do it the right way. Selecting all the controls, only then press S. Okay, and then I'll select the main control and I'll say you go up here. So it's like what we had before. I'm gonna go to frame 9 again, right? And then I won't select all the controls and press S. I'll select the main control and just move it down. Hit there. So yes, it will create a key. But if I select that guy, so there's key here, so it will kind of not go up and then it will go up. But in transit Z, what happens is there's no key at frame 9. And if I you know, go to frame 9, you'll see if I delete the key here, okay, let's just or if I, you know, select that guy, I'm gonna zoom. Okay, if I delete the key here, you see there's no key that's going to hold it there because it was there just now. Remember, it was here. The position at frame 9 is here at that value. So if I were to go to this frame and delete that key, there's no key to hold it there. So it's going to be a problem. Now it's not going to go forward. So that's why I say it's really important when animating that you need to press S for everyone. That's the solution for this. If you didn't create it, you can actually move it down like that and only then create a key for everyone. So select all the controls, press S. Now it's going to create a key there. And if I were to delete this guy, you'll see that it's going forward. So I guess another solution if you forgot to key is you can go, you know, you can select all the controls, go frame by frame and press S, go to that frame, press S, go to that frame, press S, and keep on doing it for all your drawings. Then you can be sure that you have keys for all the controls. You gotta watch this video again and again, I assume, or give it a try yourself and see what's going on in the graph editor to really understand this concept. Okay, in the next video, so I'm gonna stop this because I think it's quite long. I'm gonna talk about how to make our life much more easier by using character sets.